There's a treasure map hidden in the depth of your soul.
If you find that map and you take that path, it will lead you to the golden heart of hearts,
Overflowing
with knowing and bliss.
if you get that far,
just keep going, remembering this. Do what your heart says you should do. It's the most precious part of you. That's where the answers come, when your thoughts are calm and you're searching for the truth. Do what your heart says.
and when the ones you trust to be fair and just turn on you,
and you're all alone in the great unknown, and you don't know what you should do.
find your heart of hearts, overflowing
with knowing and bliss.
if you get that far,
just keep going.
Good morning. This is Sue Fulmer. I'm a practitioner in training at the Center for Spiritual Living, St. George. It's my privilege to lead you in meditation today. Thank you for being with us. It is the first Sunday in a brand new year, 2021. Our theme for today is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. I see evolution as an upward spiral. Sometimes the more difficult an experience is in life, the more growth it produces and the more advancement on that evolutionary spiral. Envision yourself in this past pandemic year and look for the ways that you have experienced growth and evolution. Look for the ways that you changed your perspectives on what really matters. So many opportunities have come our way this past year to grow in leaps and bounds. As we meditate together today, you may want to focus on gratitude for the timeless wisdom you gained this past year. We will start with focus on the breathing. I would like you to practice this relaxing technique. Breathe in deeply, hold the breath for 3 or 4 seconds, then exhale in 2 short puffs through pursed lips, and then gently puff the remaining air out. Ready? Inhale, hold, exhale, puff, puff, puff. Again, inhale deep, hold, exhale, puff, puff, puff. While we listen to soft music for about 3 or 4 minutes, take yourself in your mind to a warm, soft place. Take a look at yourself and say thank you for all that you've gained this past year. It's time to come back. Give gratitude for what you have seen and felt in this experience today. Move your body gently. Awaken your focus for today's service, which will be starting soon at 11 o'clock. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.
There's a treasure map hidden in the depth of your soul.
If you find that map and you take that path, it will lead you to the golden heart of hearts,
Overflowing
with knowing and bliss.
if you get that far.
Just keep going, remembering this. Do what your heart says you should do. It's the most precious part of you. That's where the answers come, when your thoughts are calm and you're searching for the truth. Do what your heart says.
And when the ones you trust to
Good morning, CS Centers for Spiritual Living, St. George. We are an open and loving, inclusive community that supports thinking creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. My name is Star, and I'm here to be your host today, and I'm very honored. Today, we had a wonderful meditation from Sue Fulmer. Thank you very much, Sue. That was marvelous. And our music creator is Cheryl Barlow. And our covenant will be read by Marina Anderson. And Kelly Capstar is our wonderful invocationist. And our message today is by Joe Kovach, who is another religious science certified practitioner. And we're honored to have him with us today. And now I'm going to bring in Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl.
Good morning, Star. Happy to be here.
Great.
On this first Sunday in this brand new year, in the month of January. And what better time to remind ourselves there is only love, with this beautiful song by Michael God. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. love that sets me free. There is only love. I'm going to welcome Kelly Capsar to do our invocation this morning. Hello, Kelly.
Carol, thank you. So I invite us just to get comfortable in our seats. Maybe we put our hands on our hearts, hands on our bellies. And we breathe in. We breathe in that life, that love, that timeless wisdom. And I was sitting with the meditation and watching the mountains and the trees and the clouds depicted in the picture. And the shape of the mountains made me contemplate the timelessness and the beauty that evolves. For at one time, those mountains were probably a different shape, and yet they were still the power and presence of life. And so I take the breath, breathing into those mountains, into the clouds, into the constant movement, into the absolute stability. And knowing it truly is the perfection of life, of God, of love, in action right here, right now. And so that is the absolute truth of our world right here, right now, this first Sunday of January of 2021. And like those mountains, there might have been some upheaval to create the shapes and the crags of the peaks. But maybe the beauty of those mountains covered in trees is what's evolving. For everything is happening in divine, perfect action, divine, right order, in the timeless wisdom that God is, that I am, that we are. And so I am simply so grateful for this reminder, for this time, this space, this community coming together to remember that God is. God is. And maybe we breathe that into our bodies, remembering that as God is, I am. And so we let gratitude, we let love, we let that divine order and perfection lead the way into this year that comes, into all that we are becoming, all that we have already become. And we just call it good and very good, knowing that this is the law and the love of the One, and that we are one with and as it. And as we declare this together, the law simply says yes. And so we respond to the law by letting go and saying, and so it is together. And so it is.
So it is. Amen. Thank you. So these lyrics will be on the screen. Love to have you read along, sing along, and affirm these beautiful words. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, then I go inside, quiet my mind. I hear Spirit There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. And I know this voice of love. It is singing through my life. It is all I am, every part of me. It is all I choose to be. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. And now I'm going to invite Marina Anderson to come in and do our sacred reading. Good morning, Marina.
Good morning, Cheryl. I love that song. It's a good thing I was muted because I was singing with you.
Good.
Oh, good morning, everybody. I am here to read for you our Sacred Covenant, which we do every Sunday. It is the covenant that the selection committee wrote as a prayer for us to work our new minister into our lives. So please read along with me. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life, I know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my minister reveals wholeness. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which we believe, for it is written, "Let us learn to draw the divine substance down into our lives, and as freely as it is given to us, let us give it to others. Thus alone shall we be made whole." Ernest Holmes. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as growing the center in joy and prosperity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing the truth about myself, for I live the presence and law of God. I demonstrate wisdom through a mature understanding of the wholeness of life. I am accountable and willing to take responsibility for my actions. I participate in and support the nurturance and guidance of the community. I act from wholeness and congruence in thought, word, and action. I walk the talk. I embrace. Please express your own personal truth here. I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, knowing that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful. Love that covenant. So this month's theme is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And this week, it is also our focus. One of my favorite writings of Ernest Holmes is This Thing Called You. Beautiful little book. And in it, he says, you belong to the universe in which you live. You are one with the creative genius back of this vast array of ceaseless motion, this original flow of life. You are as much a part of it as the sun, the earth, and the air. There is something in you telling you this, like a voice echoing from some mountaintop of inward vision, like a light whose origins no man has seen, like an impulse welling up from an invisible source. I'm so grateful for Ernest and for so many teachers that have shed light for all of the mystics and the teachers and the visionaries that have come before us and led the way and invite us in. And this song is a reminder of that. Many before us knew truth. They walked in the flow of a holy pursuit, the silent, invisible, creative force that acts through us. They call upon us to follow their lead into a consciousness where love sets free every thought, every action. Each moment is perfect before you. Breathe. Know it in. Love it in. Trust it in. Each longing that you ever dreamed, every secret desire your soul has esteemed, each goodly ambition is life whispering we are one. What we need to do is to truly believe, choose what we experience, what we perceive. The natural law is expression of all we contribute. Breathe it out. Know it out. Love it out. Trust it out. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Love it in. Love it out. Da 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 dee da da do. I am going to welcome Star back. Good to see you, Star.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Cheryl. That was so beautiful. I love the in and out. Yes, practicing that. Okay, I'm here to invite in Joe Kovach. He's giving our lesson today, our awarenesses. I'd like to welcome Joe and his timeless wisdom and visionary greatness that's going to come out of 2021. So welcome, Joe, and
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too.
It's good to see you, and it's good to be back.
Yes.
So our timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. I looked ahead and saw the title of this talk, and I was like, wow, let's see how this is going to go, because this could easily be an entire college course. So I want to say first to everybody, Happy New Year. I'm hoping that, I'm knowing that this year is definitely going to be the best year we've had yet. And it's, we got to start with a little joy, little comedy here. And so just in case you can't read the comic, there's a gentleman, he's saying, "This year I resolved to procrastinate less." And his lovely wife says, "Honey, today is January 9th. And the gentleman says, "See, I'm better already. Last year I made the same resolution on February 15th. So just a fun joke to be easy on ourselves. And I also put that in there for me too, because again, this topic can be very deep. And obviously the idea is to reach out to everyone. So as I talk, I invite you to hear the words and just allow what is perfect for you to sit within you and raise that vibration that we are. And so how did I start off this talk? These thoughts were going in my mind. And at first I'm like, well, it's the new year and we should probably do some kind of a review of the last year. And of course, we're talking about 2020 here. So I was like, what to talk about? And then I happened to read, this was a couple days ago or yesterday, and I read the Science of Mind magazine, which I do daily. And there was a article by Reverend Andriette Earl, who is the spiritual leader of Heart and Soul Center in Heart and Soul Center of Light in Oakland, California. And she happened to write a one-page article on our talk today, Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And she used this quote that I want to share with you now. And it's by Abraham Lincoln. And she shared, and this is written way back in 1858, when he was still just a candidate for the Illinois legislature. And it says, "A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently half slave and free. I do not expect the union to be dissolved. I do not expect the house to fall, but I do expect it will cease to be divided. It will become all one thing or all the other." And I was like, wow, I've heard part of that quote and I let it sit with me. And I was like, all right, continued reading. And what she shared, I want to share with you, and I'm going to quote her, as she says, "As we release 2020 and launch 2021, we are at a similar crossroads in consciousness. We cannot simultaneously be enslaved to tyranny and be free to thrive." So again, the rest of the article, and I do invite you to read that. I think I did include the page. It's on page 31 in this month's Science of Mind magazine. If you don't have it, go out there. It's a great spiritual practice and get one. So I agree with her because it calls upon us as individuals to be conscious of what we believe. And then if we're to take the next step forward, is to look and see if our actions, our behaviors are aligned with the intentions that we set. So even deeper, it points out in a simple way that either we believe in our own good or we don't. And the subject for Lincoln, of course, at that time was, slavery versus freedom. But I want to be bold enough to stand here and say consciously, that until we choose to declare and accept that we are one and that freedom is our birthright, that our house is divided and we are a slave. A slave to who? To ourselves. We hold ourselves bounded, in prison. And maybe not so much as to who, but maybe as to what. And what are we a slave to? Really is simple. It goes back to the basis of our teaching, which is, the cause. And we know that first cause is our thinking. Our own limited thinking or our own abundant, infinite thinking. Our own refusal to accept the freedom that is ours, the abundant life that is ours, the ease and grace that is ours, or the choice to choose to be free and recognize our birthright, that we are truly one with that which we say is all. And I know myself, I create this practice when I discover myself caught up in circumstances or turmoil, or I hear some kind of bad news that upsets me. I go within and I say, well, Joe, what do you believe? Do you believe or not? And this practice started for me well over 10 years ago when I was seeing some spiritual coaches. And the very thing kind of happened where I visited and I was just going off on a tangent. This is way back at the beginning of my spiritual journey. So I was really caught up in the what was happening and how I couldn't control it. And of course, we released the how to the universe because it knows best for us. But I was caught up, and he kept trying to get me there. And I kept saying, but. And he finally said, so basically, Joe, what you're telling me is you don't believe in God and that he can take care of everything. And I was, rarely as I am, speechless. Because really, that's what it came down to. Either I trusted in God, in spirit, in life, to have my highest and best intention, or I don't. I can't have a house divided against itself and expect good. So just like I want to be well, but if all day long I'm talking about how bad I feel, those two things aren't congruent. It's a house divided against itself. And then I was interested to look in Science of Mind, the book by, of course, our founder, Ernest Holmes. Oh, I went the wrong way. And what did he say? And he shares in this quote, he says, we cannot recognize that it is, meaning, of course, it is capital It, as he calls it, we can call it God or spirit, whatever you want. We cannot recognize that it is while we are believing that it is not. Hence, it is written, they entered not in because of unbelief, which comes from the Bible in Hebrews. We may enter in because of our belief, but we cannot enter while there is unbelief. Here we come to a house divided against itself. So there's that phrase again. House divided against itself. If we say we can only experience a little good, then we shall experience but a little good. But if we say with Emerson, there is no great and no small to the soul that maketh all, then we may experience a greater good because we have conceived it. So that's powerful to me, because that goes back to, again, and we're talking about like this house divided, and what came to me was, well, what's the foundation that I'm building my house on, right? And am I checking it regularly? And at the times, because this tends to happen in life, at least we feel our house has crumbled, can we look at it as a maybe new conscious opportunity to rebuild it according to what we truly believe? Because generally when things, we'll say, fall apart, when the earthquake hits, it's outside, something's happening outside of our comfort zone. And that's really when the quote test comes. What do we say we believe? Are our actions aligned? Are my practices aligned with what I say I believe? Am I truly one? Am I truly seeing that spirit and life is love, is God in action? So even can I grasp a higher understanding of maybe some of the things I see on TV that in the one sense I'm looking at and judging in a negative aspect that it turns my stomach? I know my family and I were watching Cobra Kai last night. We're going to get a chuckle out of this, but there was a part where there's a lot of bullying going on in that movie, and something came up for me, and I still am sitting with it and processing it, because there was a point in time in my life, a long period of time, when I was bullied, and I looked at it, and for the long time I chose my house as life is unfair and I'm a victim. And then through spiritual practices, I can look back and I can look at it in a higher way. I can see that I built my house on a faulty foundation, and an earthquake shook it to pieces, and that was a good thing, that I was able to take a look at what I was building my house from, and was it strong? Was it true? And so this came up for me again last night, which to me has me, when things come up from the past, it's not an omen. I look at it as a blessing of something that has yet to be healed, yet to have light shined on it, to be integrated within who I am and my wholeness. And so this really kind of hit me at a deeper level. And so then as we're looking, at our house, another quote came up from Holmes, and he says this. He says, therefore, our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle which of itself is without limit. Let me say that again. Therefore, our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle which of itself is without limit. It is ready to fill everything because it is infinite. So, it is not a question of its willingness, nor of its ability, right? God is all powerful. We don't have to question it. It is entirely a question, again, of our own receptivity. What are we saying we believe? What am I willing to receive? And if I'm not in alignment, maybe this year is a year of courage, of stepping forward to release maybe what scares me, to go out and really, let's change that, go in and check my foundation again. And is it strong enough? Is it where I really want to keep my house? And there's a saying that I've heard, I think of it all the time, and it says, sometimes the opposite of a great truth is another great truth. And what that means for me is that there's infinite wisdom. And what served me at one point may no longer serve me at another point, even if it might be opposite of what I said I believed, of where I built my house. So, some more wisdom I wanted to share. One of my favorite books of all time and quotes of all time is, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." And I, of course, want to be gender neutral. So as a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she. Now, of course, this comes from the Bible. And, it sounds similar to the first idea, but I ask you to look at the simple statement and realize that it's not just talking about a thought, but the energy, the vibration, the feeling that we're giving that thought. Because really, that's where the power is. I can say something, but if I'm not conscious, so in other words, I build my house, I say, this is my house. But if I'm not conscious of my true feelings, then I'm really maybe trying to be this house of love and openness. But there's a lot of dark corridors in my house. And that vibration that's coming from me, while my mind wants to say it's all love, and it is love to a level that I can give. But if I'm not, of course, being receptive of that love, of that infinite love, of that unconditional love that forgives us for whatever it is that we've done, because it knows our birthright of good and love and joy, it knows our true nature, then the vibration we give off is not one that we would really, if we flipped it around and looked at it, say, yeah, that's what I want to stand for. And how many times do we stand for a house? We take a side and we're just not all in. And now I've heard myself exclaim, oh, I believe there's one God, all powerful, all knowing, it's infinite, it expresses itself in, as, and through its creation. Everything is God in action. It's almost like it just flows. I've said it so many times. Yet I also can admit there's times that in my heart, I'm fearful. I'm afraid of situations. I'm afraid of my neighbor. I'm afraid of a virus, of not having enough. Or worse, maybe I'm most afraid maybe of not being enough. That's a big one. So where have I built my house? Maybe we build our houses not through our mind, but through our hearts. As this quote kind of likens, I look at this quote. It does say, thinketh in his or her heart. But we know that heart is that feeling center. So maybe it's a balance of both. If the mind and the heart are divided, then our house is divided. Is that a strong house? Will it stand the test of great storms, of great circumstances, of great events? We all are experiencing a great event worldwide, and there's many people that feel many different ways about it. Can we see the highest and best for it? Can we look through it and stand and know and declare that it is good? So this talk title is timeless wisdom, and evolutionary vision. And again, this talk could be a college level course. So I'm just trying to give us enough to get going for this new year and be inspired to take a look at ourselves. And remember, this is what this teaching is all about. So let me switch now to the vision part. And again, this one I was like, wow, okay, how do I flip from that into evolutionary vision? And so I just happened to open a book and find a great quote and share that with you. So in 1958, Ernest Holmes was asked in an interview to write out in 25 words or less what religious science is. Now, I was looking at this and I looked at the date and I'm like, oh, it's like 100 years after Abraham Lincoln wrote his. Isn't that interesting? See how Spirit just serves up what's perfect. And so let me share that quote, what his answer was. He says, religious science is a synthesis, I'm going to say that again, synthesis of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to human needs and the aspirations of man. And then he said, and I quote him, I like that. Isn't that good? That's the faith we follow here. And knowing that it is all of that, it's science, it's philosophy, it's opinions, it's revelations. Because he recognized that the best and the highest of life comes in many ways. We can't limit the infinite, the limitless. And so now I took this one step further because our very own Centers for Spiritual Living says that it's a world that works, or the vision, is a world that works for everyone. And speaking of that, I went in and recently did a visioning through one of my classes for ministerial school. And let me back up for a minute, because when I first started hearing vision, my mind starts going, ooh, a world that works for everybody. How's that going to happen? And my mind goes, it starts processing. What does it look like here? What does it look like there? What about those people? There's wars. How are we going to stop wars? And what about economy? Da, 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 da. And off my mind just runs. And that's it, right? So it's like out of bounding. I reeled it back in. I'm like, okay, there's the mind. Now let's go to the other quote I shared, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Let's bring in the heart. So how do I bring in the heart to this? Well, I learned this in ministerial school, and from, as you see her name, Reverend Dr. Petra Wells. She's the spiritual co-leader for CSL Living Dallas, excuse me. And her quote, she said, first, ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want? We hear this all the time. But then she added, without the form. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Because when I think of prosperity, I think of money. That's form. I think of a big house or a nice house. That's form. I think of a new working car. That's form. But this takes us back to the heart again, to the feeling, to the vibration of what it is that we intend to experience. This is truly, to me, a simple and profound practice. It allows us to focus on the feeling of what we want. Or maybe, better even yet, the being of what we want. How is it that I would be in a world that works for everyone? Think about that for a moment. You know, the science of mind is what we come here to share in and teach and share our experiences. And what is it that we want with form? If we say that we want a world that works for everyone, that of course includes me, includes you. That means you're able to live the life of joy and expression that you want, right? I can do that the same. And of course, when we're doing this, we're envisioning a whole lot more. But let's feel that. I'm going to invite you in here for just a short bit because I want to invite you into this process of visioning. And so what I'm asking you to simply do is right where you are to get comfortable and to close your eyes, just like a meditation. If you want to close your eyes, that's fine. But we're just going to vision for a minute. We're going to take 60 seconds, and I want you to practice feeling what a world that works for everyone feels like. And as you go within, I want you to just release and relax. Feel joy. Feel that for no reason at all. Feel love. Feel the stress just go because there's no worry. There's no war. There's people understanding. There's empathy. There's compassion. There's laughter. Just feel that. If a picture comes in mind, that's great. That's okay. But let that heart process. Be receptive of a world that works for everyone. Because that is truly what allows it. Just about 15 more seconds. Just be. And I welcome you to come back. I don't want to lose you. Now, if that was like a minute and a half, imagine if we practiced 5 minutes a day, just feeling what we want, feeling abundant. See, when I think of abundance, again, my mind tends to go with particularly like prosperity and money. And so what would it be like if I had all the money I needed ever? Would I change the way I am? Maybe some of the things I would purchase, but that's the form again. What about the feeling without the form? Would I choose differently? And while I'm not, can I be okay with what I have, right? Because I don't want to limit the receptivity of what is there. It's all God in action. It's all God in form. Can I build my house on that foundation? And to conclude, I just want to share, of course, Science of Mind and Spirit is the timeless wisdom. To me, it's a culmination of all the best parts of the past. And is it perfect? No, but that's also why Ernest Holmes left it open at the top for us to grow. He wasn't going to limit a limitless wisdom. And so the quality and level of freedom that we experience in life then is determined by, the foundation that we set our house upon. And I just wanted to take us into this idea of who we are as a center. And you can find this on the website, on the CSL websites, and I'm sure even with St. George. But this is what we believe. And let's just take a look at some of this. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. That's a mouthful. This is why we have classes, so we can really dig into that. But can I set my foundation on that? For me, yes. We believe in the individualization of spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one spirit. I love that. That is definitely a piece of my foundation. I don't believe I'm separate, right? I wasn't created on an island. I may be an individual, but I'm one with every other individual that is one with the collective. And while we look at this, that our individual and collective differences, our collective talents and skills are being used to build a new and evolutionary house that will stand strong, that's able to support with love and grace a world that does work for everyone. These principles are a great foundation to start from. If something doesn't sit with you, there's a particular word you don't like, change it. Go within your heart and ask yourself what feels right for you. Build your foundation. I don't believe it can be wrong. And I know that as we each continue to walk our path of experience in this life, things are going to change. Our view is going to change. But I'm also knowing that as a collective global Centers for Spiritual Living, that this year we are more united than ever. That we are changing for the best and the highest good. And I know this for each individual. So, this new year, this month, this day, knowing that we have courage to look at our foundation, to look at the house we say that we stand on and for, and we go within and we spend some time there and clean it up if we need to. Maybe we need to move to a different street. Maybe. But that's okay, because it's never wrong and we're never going to get it done, because this is an infinite life. So I ask you now to just go within as we affirm what we know. We affirm that this wisdom that we know within us is timeless. And we bless all of those that have shared in their lives from back from the beginning all the way to right in this moment, that the best and the highest wisdom for us is present within us as us. Knowing that there is only one life, one God, one Spirit, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-present. It's right here, right now. And we are receptive to it. That each person hearing my voice, no matter when it is, on a recording or live, is now more receptive than they have ever been. Is now more willing to be more receptive than they have ever been. Has built their house on a strong foundation, a permanent foundation of all the best that they know of and will know of. That the truth of love exists, that love is. That each member of CSL St. George, each person listening right now, is absolutely blessed, and they know it. That they feel that joy of love, that they're able to balance the mind and the heart and create an amazing life for themselves in the highest and best way for them. That this is an amazing year of co-creating truly a world that works for everyone. Please affirm with me as we say, and so it is. Amen. God bless you. So be it.
Thank you, Joe. That was marvelous. I loved it. And I love that you brought in the divisiveness that we felt last year. In my meditation, I went ahead and baptized the whole year in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And it just, all things start new again this year.
Yeah. We're at a higher place, and we just bless it all, like you said.
Yep. So I'm grateful for your words. Thank you. So today we need your wisdom and vision. We invite you to continue to support the center in joy and prosperity of all that is. Even though we have left our physical center, we are still an up and going and thriving community, and we would love to have you support us if at all possible. And so here are some places where you can go. You can check us out on Facebook, or you can send a check to us. And our new address is P.O. Box 3132 in St. George. So the announcements for today is the Center for Spiritual Living is still seeking a new minister. So please visit our website and Facebook and for more information, or feel free to contact us directly if you have any suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. Join the community conversation at noon. We have a Zoom service that everyone's invited to, and you should have received a link in a newsletter if you have signed up for one. If you haven't, go ahead and sign up for it. And if not, it is also on our website at CSLSG St. George, or that means CSLStGeorge.org, sorry. And we are here to support you. We have a community care circle. We also that sends out everything from cards, prayers, calls to our community. Or you could send us your prayer request. We have practitioners available, and all of us are very, very into the service that would love to help you if you need some. So just contact us by email. We have a book club. Our new book is being selected right now, and you can email Sue for more information at suegfulmer@gmail.com. Join us next Sunday and the following Sunday, next Sunday, January 10th, for Grounding Beyond the Beginning with Reverend Elijah Christopher, and the following January 17th, the Here and Now with Jeffan Seeley. Can't wait for these two. So we now have a closing affirmation we'd like all to repeat for you. Please feel free to read along with us. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Have a marvelous day.
See you at the Zoom meeting.
Yep.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Blessings. Happy New Year.
Happy New